What is service level? A service level measures the performance of a system, like the percentage of calls answered in a call center, the percentage of customers that do not experience stockout, or how many customers wait less than a given time for a Big Mac at McDonald's. There are two mainly used service level models, which are event-oriented performance or quantity-oriented performance. But what is the most common percentage of service levels? It depends on the industry. A call center mostly answers 80% of the calls in less than 20 seconds, and the cloud services have 99.9% of time access for the top services. But what are we going to explain today? Today, we'll focus on thinking how two different service models and their agreement can influence cost and revenues, and for this, we'll compare Amazon Web Services and IBM Cloud. But Loris Rogo, how does this work?
Today's topic is service level thinking. So we learned that service level for a customer might be, for example, the waiting time before someone reaches to you in a call center. But actually in today's video, we'll take a firm perspective and see how different service level agreements can influence the cost for a company. To do so, we took two different companies, IBM and Amazon, and both of them actually offer cloud services. And it's important to know first that service level in cloud services is measured by the downtime of server, which means how many minutes you can't have access to your data. And it's interesting because those two companies have different service level agreements and therefore different service level refund policies. So how to calculate the cost? Actually, we just took 1,000 customers and we wanted to see how many of them will be in the, well, below the numbers in the service level agreements and therefore will get a refund. So how to get that and to calculate the cost? First, we needed to calculate how many what's the probabilities to get 0, 1, 2, 3 or 5%, 5 minutes downtime. So to do that, we found out first that a new server has approximately 12.5 minutes downtime in average per month, as we can see here. A server that is 4 years old has approximately 20 minutes downtime in average per month. And here we can see for IBM Cloud Storage, actually they have 20.25 minutes downtime a month, so it's close to the 20 we had. So we wanted a normal distribution that we can see here with a mean of 20, but with number from 0 to 70. So what we did, we just listed numbers from 0 to 40 because the mean is obviously 20. We calculated the standard deviation with this formula, and we just plugged those two numbers in the formula normal distribution. So with 0, the mean we calculated before the standard deviation, and false because otherwise it will just add up all those probabilities and you will end up at 70 with 1 and not 0 the probability. So that's what we did, and we can see here the probabilities normal distribution until 70. But what you can see is that also you have probabilities here before 0 that are not calculated. And how to see that is that if you sum up all those numbers, those probabilities, you get actually 0.95. So we wanted the probabilities before 0, so what we did, we just took 1 minus the probabilities here and we get the probabilities before 0. And those probabilities before 0 are just add up to 0. So this is not the real probability for 0, but those are the real probabilities for the rest of the numbers. So what we did afterward, we needed to calculate the cumulative probability to generate 1,000 numbers. So for 0 it's 0. Here, we need to calculate the cumulative probability, you just need to add up those two columns. But because this is not the real probability for 0, we need to add up also the probabilities that are before 0. That's why we add also this number. So that's why we get 5.174%, and this is the real probability for 0. And after, for the rest of the column, actually, the calculation is the same, so we just need to add those two numbers. So with the cumulative probability, what we did is to generate 1,000 numbers. How to do that? Just to use the formula lookup to generate 1,000 numbers based on the probabilities we found out before, and with numbers between 0 and 70. That's what we did. So we have 1,000 generated numbers. The next things to do is to actually to see how many times each numbers appear in those 1,000 generated numbers. To do that, just use the formula count if, take the 1,000 generated numbers, take the number you want to see how many times it appears, click OK, and you can see that for 0 it appears 48 times, which represents 4.8%, and it's close to the probability we found out here. And we can see for the rest of the probabilities, it's close to the probabilities we found out here. So that's the only difference. So afterward, we wanted to calculate actually the cost. So what we did, we took the service level agreements of the two companies, and for IBM, to get 10% refund, you need to be between 21 or 43 minutes downtime a month, and to get 25% refund, you need to be above 43% a month. So what we just added those numbers that are between 21 and 43, and we got 446. We did the same for above to get 25% refund. How to calculate the cost, but we just imagine that each customer actually pays 10,000 a month. So to calculate this number, the cost, it's obviously 10%. So of 10,000, it's 1,000 times the number we found out. Here it's 25%, so 2,500 times the number we found out. This is the cost. We just added the cost. So the revenues, it's obviously 10,000 times 1,000. That's what we did. We get the cost. We just did after revenue minus the cost. And here we have the profit, and we have also the margin. And we can see that for Amazon, they have a higher margin than IBM because they have different service level agreements. And it's also the same if you take those numbers and you plug in the formula. Actually, you can see that they have different costs at different numbers, and you can see actually the different strategies of the two companies using different service level agreements. Thank you very much.